We got episode 7 of the Mo&Co Show. I've been here. I've been there. I've been sick as a dog. I was actually dying last week on the way to Tampa. I thought I was going to fucking pass out. But we made it to the Stadium Series. We saw a goalie tilly between Sway and Vasi. Fucking unreal. Sway is a dog, but he got his teeth punched in. What a game. 4-goal comeback. The Tampa Bay Lightning are still rolling at the top of the Atlantic. And our guest today, former Leaf, by the way, and my Habs are buzzing. So we got a lot to talk about, especially on a Leafs-focused epi. But hey, we're going to touch a bit on the Atlantic. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. We're going to go everywhere. And without further ado, I would like to introduce former Leaf, former Flyer, absolute stud, my guest today, Jay Rosehill. Give a round of applause, everyone. Jay Rosehill. We got Jay. Big Jay. Jay, how you doing, brother?
Big crowd. Good to hear. Thanks for the intro, man. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We're doing mint. And just before we kind of get started here, just to plug your shows, because I know you got your own little Leafs talk going on. You got guests coming in every epi, just like me. It's Leafs Morning Take with you, the man, and Nick. 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. Check them out on YouTube. Part of the Leafs Nation YouTube channel, too. If you want to give yourself a nice little plug there where they could find you as well, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Leafs Morning Take. We do a show, YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts. The Leafs Nation 401 is kind of where you're going to find us on YouTube. But me and Nick, we break it down 5 days a week for the most part. We might take a little break here during the Olympics, go to 2 or 3 days a week. But we're doing that. I do a little bit for hockeyfights.com as well. Break down some different scraps with Matthew Barnaby. So, yeah, just getting in on all the action with the NHL. And, yeah, check us out. Check me out on Twitter, too. And you know what drives all that stuff.
That'd be. And what hotter topic than the Leafs in today's NHL? They're a fucking roller coaster. They lose 6 in a row to pretty much what we think are guaranteed dubs. And then they go out west and they take care of fucking business, especially against the Edmonton Oilers, who... I mean, even Edmonton is kind of a shit show in itself. Draisaitl calling out the coach. Fucking Lomberg saying Jari Swiss cheese. It's chaos in a lot of Canadian cities right now, but at the forefront, we always know is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. 27, 21, and 9 so far in the season. 63 points. You'd think that'd be a fucking enough, at least, to be sniffing at a wild card spot right now, but the Atlantic is just kicking like no fucking tomorrow. As a former Leaf, just kind of give me a brief overview before we get into the specific topics. As a Leafs guy, what's the vibe in Leafs Nation right now?
Oh man, it is all over the map. It's convoluted, it's complicated. There's so many different takes and opinions on what's going on, what they're going to do. There's no answer that's obvious. There's no answer that's easy. I don't think a lot of people expected this season. Like you said, you'd think that the points they have rattled off would, traditionally be good enough to get in or have, be closer to sniffing the playoffs. You look at the Pacific and Edmonton, everyone thinks they're just a contender automatically. They have 1 point more than the Maple Leafs, and the Leafs have a game in hand, I think. Maybe that changed last night, but, I mean, it's close. It's the Atlantic Division. It's been a cluster for the entire season. But at the end of the day, the Leafs, they started the season so poorly. They pissed so many points down their leg. It's not even funny. They found it right after Christmas, went on a 10, 11-game heater, looked like the team that we thought they could be, and then they got a 5-6 game homestand and just continually to fill their pants. And, they're in one. They're in one. I mean, a lot of people have written them off. There's a sliver of hope, but it's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna take a lot. It's unfortunate that their future is not necessarily in their hands. They're gonna have to get some help, as there's a bunch of teams and a bunch of points ahead of them. I think it's slim chances for them to make the playoffs unless something special happens. But just like you said, roller coaster, Jekyll and Hyde. This team, good Lord, it keeps you on your toes.
And, dude, let me tell you what, when they hired Berube, so I'm a Habs fan, I'll be the first to admit, and all my followers probably already know this. Used to live in Montreal, but I'm a Toronto boy now, but still love my fucking Habs. Pissed Carey Price never won a cup, but that's besides the point. My point is, when Berube got hired as the Leafs head coach, I was shitting my pants, I'll tell you, because what that guy did with whipping those St. Louis Blues to shape, I'm like, this is exactly what Toronto fucking needed, right? And then now we're looking at a situation where their window to win is probably the biggest topic in the hockey world. What do you make of the Leafs' window to win? I think personally, I think last year was the year taking the Panthers all the way to that Game 7 and then just not having enough, right, to get the job done. But I think the Leafs window to win is kind of slowly but surely closing. But I want your take on that, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you've had a decade of playing with, Matthews, Nylander, and you could throw Marner in there. And, you go back to a decade ago, the Hockey News threw their magazine out there and just said, they drafted these 3 guys. There's 3 like hyper talented studs. And they just said flat out, it's not when they're going to win a cup, it's how many they're going to win. And It never came to fruition. There is, the Montreal series that you're probably familiar with, the Columbus series, and everything in between, just playoff disasters. They've won 2 series in that span of time. Like, as far as the Toronto market and what people expected is concerned, I mean, you can talk about the Hart trophies on Matthews and Marner finally got to a 100-point season. The Rocket Richards that Matthews has rattled off. That's all fine and dandy. Like, they're talented. There's no one that's going to argue that. But the question now is, from what we've seen, are these guys, do they have the stuff to take you to where you need to go? Obviously, I think last summer everyone decided you can't throw $13 million at Marner and just keep throwing money so that you have all this money packed into 3 guys who have constantly stutter-stepped and failed when you need them, like the character, the leadership, the grit, the tenacity. Like, are these guys dogs or not? And there's nothing to say that they are. There's nothing to say that they are. Trophies and regular season success, cool. But to throw $13 million at Mitch and just do more of the same after what you saw, people were like, hey, we can't do this. We got to move on from this and work around the edges. They did what they could. Tree Living did what he could in the offseason. Unfortunately, hindsight's 2020. You should have moved off Marner if you were going to, back when his no trade clause was going to kick in. It's unfortunate, but I don't think anyone saw the drop off that they were going to have. I still think they would be out of a playoff position if they had Mitch, based on how they played this season. It's been so inconsistent. There's so many games you could go back to where they were lifeless and heartless. And at the end of the day, you need leadership. You need dogs. You need the big boys to come up and just pull everyone into the fight to get those points when things aren't going well. They just fucking fell by the wayside and just had nothing, expressionless, emotionless. It was ugly. And now, they're in a spot where a lot of questions are being raised. You mentioned Craig Berube. It's the easiest thing in the world to attack the coach and say, oh, like, fucking systems, guys. Do you think the difference between a hard forechecking system or a puck possession system or the Devil's fucking trap system or a left wing lock, do you think that's the fucking differences between being a Stanley Cup contender and missing the playoffs? It's not. It's the boys digging your heels in, being fucking dogs, and having leadership to get you through the tough times of the season. And they haven't displayed any of that so far, if you ask me. And that's why they're sitting where they're sitting.
You fucking tell him. And hey, speaking of dogs, that team could use fucking Gavin McKenna right now, am I right? Holy fucking that guy chuck him. But apparently. But yeah, the past couple of years, it's looking like that wild card spot. We're looking at that 91 to 93 point range. But in a year as unique as this year, you're probably looking at the 95 point mark, which with 25 games left in the season, you're looking at you're going to rattle off like 17 to 20 wins to even have a chance at sniffing that spot, especially with how these teams are humming. So I guess my question to you is, do you think that's even possible?
Well, it's possible. Yes, it's possible, but it's not likely.
Yeah.
And you're going to need help. You got teams ahead of you. They're going to need to flounder. Like, unfortunately, the fate of the Toronto Maple Leafs is not squarely in their hands. They could get hot as shit. They could get Woll and Stolarz to play out their ass. Their defense could finally come together, figure shit out. They could have Nylander and Matthews pop off. Nyes could get healthy after the break. They could rattle off a whole bunch of wins and they could still miss the playoffs. Let's be honest. You're going to need help ahead of you. It's still possible. It's not likely. Yeah. And, it's unfortunate because just the way the league has gone this year, the way their division has gone this year, and the way they've played this year, they've got no one to blame but themselves to be in this position. But as an athlete and as players in that locker room, they're not going to wave the white flag until it's mathematically impossible to do it. So it's funny, the disconnect, not the disconnect, but just the difference in opinion from the fanfare and the market and the media, and then what you hear from the locker room. But I totally understand it. They're not gonna concede anything until it's actually over. It's just their window has closed, and it's a small chance right now. But I agree, it is still a chance. And of course, in Leafs fashion, they rattle off 3 wins in a row to go into the break.
Just to bring you back fucking in, am I right?
Maybe they'll pull you back in. So it's going to be interesting. I hope they make it exciting, but the leafiest thing they could do is go on a heater, and just the last couple games, the team ahead of them wins a couple and they miss the playoffs by 1 or 2 points. I mean, that's as likely as anything.
Yeah. Leafs blue, just fucking blue ballsing their fans. Yeah. I mean, if we look at the age of the Leafs right now, I got Riley 31, Matthews 28, JT is 35. Like, these guys aren't getting any younger, which begs the question of, is their window closing? Am I right? But I do want to chat about what they could potentially be doing come the beginning of March with the trade deadline. Like, there's a lot of names that are being fucking thrown out there, right? Like, I had this opinion months ago, maybe in, like, let's say October, November, where it's like, if you got a guy like Hildebeest playing the way he is, do you really need one of Stolarz and Wall, or sorry, both of Stolarz and Wall, or can one, they're both fucking valuable. Can one kick rocks and you get something back in return, right? But then again, it's that 1A, 1B system when both are healthy that past couple of years has been a fucking dub for the Leafs, am I right? So would you look at trading one of those 2 goalies if they're both healthy, or shying away from that?
I mean, again, nobody has a crystal ball. There's potential, and the ideas out there. It makes sense to throw that out there. There's going to be people squawking on both sides of that argument, right? You could move on from Stolarz. It's weird. We just signed him to an extension 6 months ago. You look at last year; he's a big part of the reason they won the Atlantic, and I mean, damn near took down the Florida Panthers. They didn't. They almost did. They could have. But they didn't. He's got injury history like crazy. Joseph Woll's got injury history like crazy. They're both good when they're good. And it looks like an embarrassment of riches when you have him healthy, Woll healthy, and Hildeby has emerged as this guy who can handle it. I mean, he has had a plethora of opportunities to drop the ball, show he's not ready, show his inexperience. He's been put in spots this year where, it would be totally reasonable for him to show that he's as inexperienced as he is. He has not dropped the ball. He has been rock solid, and by all accounts, he appears to be a bit of a stud that we didn't even know he was. That's the only reason this conversation is even happening. You wouldn't even have dreamed of trading Stolarz 6 months ago. But that conversation is now coming into the fray. I'm torn on it. I think it would be way too easy to trade Stolarz. You get whatever you get back for it. Is it going to help you now? Probably not. A prospect, a second one for even a first round.
They don't need that. They don't need that.
Right, so you lose him, and then all of a sudden, Woll, he's been considered injury prone. All of a sudden, Woll goes down. You don't have Stolarz. Now it's fucking Hildeby and Akhtiamov as the Maple Leafs goaltenders as they're trying to rectify the season. Let's just say they missed the playoffs, and they're trying to rectify that. And everyone's going, what the hell? You finally, in Leafs Nation, you had goaltending depth, and you just shoveled it off for what? It could easily blow up in their face. So I'm a little bit hesitant to do that. I understand they don't have a lot of trade chips. They don't have a lot of things they can do to restock the cupboards. But I think people are looking at Bobby McMahon as a guy who could. I was going to
bring that up. Yeah, McMahon
do that a little bit more. I'm not saying they won't. I just think that to blow up in their face and be a disaster with the injury history and their goaltenders, to move on from Stolarz, especially, and of course, right before the break, he stands on his absolute head and looks like a bona fide stud against the Oilers. And he had said himself, I'll probably need 2 games to get back to form after missing 2.5 months. Would you move on from that stud for what? I'm all about listening to options and putting everything on the table as far as Tree Living doing whatever he's going to do. Hey, I'll take calls on anything. But as far as pulling triggers, I think you need to be careful on that one.
Yeah. What about, like, we know Oliver Ekman-Larsson's probably near, or if not at, his ceiling. We know Riley is probably a depreciating asset at this point. Easton Cowan, he's probably the only kind of young gun A prospect in the system. I mean, I don't really consider Nyes at his age an A prospect anymore. That guy's arrived for some time now, but he's one of the younger guys on the team. Like Lawton, I know you guys brought in at a hefty price tag as well in terms of what you had to give up. Are there other pieces on this team that like are debatable to be going out the window, or?
I mean, everyone's throwing everything around. I think that MLSE needs to address where their direction is, and I don't think they have a clue. Just like the fans, like there's so much debate. I imagine they sit in the boardroom, and it's just like the comment section of some of these videos.
Yeah.
Like there's opinions getting thrown around left, right, and center. What if this? What if that? At the end of the day, nobody has a crystal ball. You have to figure out if you're going to make the playoffs. I mean, if they come out and lose 3 out of the 4 first games after this Olympic break, I mean, the writing's going to be on the wall on what you're doing. Yeah. I think it's more likely that they're going to toe the line just enough and just kind of hang around, and there's going to be a whole bunch of what ifs, and pretty soon the trade deadline is going to be on you. Lots of question marks. Who's running this show? What direction are they going? Is Tree Living still going to be the general manager? Are you going to go into next season with Tree Living? Is Tree Living going to handle this trade deadline? Is he going to handle the trade deadline, miss the playoffs, and then get fired? That would be kind of crazy. I mean, you got to put yourself into the human shoes of Tree Living. He wants to make the playoffs, because if you do, your job is a lot more secure than missing it. Where's MLSE and the powers, the brass? Where's their head at? Have they made their decision? Is it Tree Living's gone if they miss the playoffs, or are they going to let Tree Living try to fix this season? Is it a one-off? So many question marks, man. It's actually crazy. Of course, the players, they only convolute the conversation by, rattling off 3 in a row. It was a little bit easier when they missed 5 in a row. They removed themselves from, they don't remove themselves from the mix, but they make themselves far enough away where everyone kind of unanimously says, well, they're cooked. Then it's easy to say, well, we're sellers. What can we do to set ourselves up for next season? Of course, in Leaf fashion, they're going to make it difficult. And I honestly don't know what the hell they're going to do, but decisions need to be made. And I think MLSE needs to speak at some point during this Olympic break and kind of set some course of direction.
They should, but I don't think they fucking are. And the reason I bring up this whole topic about selling is because we know how they had the chat with Matthews being like, listen, this is where our thought process is. Are you with us or are you out? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? And Matthew said, okay, I'm bought in. We don't know how the fuck he said he's bought in. We don't know if he's like, yeah, I'm fucking bought in. Or he's like, yeah, I'm all right. We don't know the context and the way he said it. But I'm sorry I keep harping on the Leafs, but it's just such a fucking big topic nowadays. Do you think we saw what happened with Quinn Hughes in Minnesota and Vancouver and the whole drama there? Do you think Austin Matthews next season, there's a potential to be the Quinn Hughes 2.0, but for Toronto?
As far as being trade bait and moving on and being a blockbuster deal, I think they're going to make their decision based on how things go. Made. It doesn't sound like, I don't think those reports would come out if there was any animosity there, if there was talks about moving on from him. I've thrown it out there. You look at 10 years of what's gone on with this group. You look at this season, everyone, like, he pops off and scores some goals since Christmas and he looks more like himself, and everyone's like, how in the world could you ever move off this guy? Well, fucking where were you the first 2.5 months of the season when points are sliding down your leg to the tune of you might miss the goddamn playoffs when you think you might be a contender? Where were you on that? Where was he on that? Where, like, everyone thought he was injured, then it comes out, well, no, he wasn't injured. Well, what the hell was wrong with the guy? There's so many times where you look at his body language and the look on his face, and then the interviews after and beforehand, he's kind of like robotic and emotionless. Like, I want a guy that grabs the mic and says, this is fucking do or die. We are so jacked about this. We're going to lead ourselves.
Sometimes he doesn't even fucking show up to the post games.
Right. I mean,
JT's fucking stepping up.
There's definitely knocks on him. And I mean, but the question is, if that bothers you enough and you want to move on from the guy you just appointed captain, who's got 3 Rocket Richards and a Hart Trophy and a no trade clause and says he wants to be here, I mean, it's not likely to do that. That's some serious. And
you're not winning that deal, whatever it is.
And you can't. I mean, I only said that I'd be open for anything. I'd be taking calls and throwing conversations out and throwing anything into the dryer and seeing what comes up, what's on the table here. It doesn't hurt to ask questions and to listen to offers. I'm not saying we have to move on from Austin Matthews, but after 10 years of this and what you've seen, I'm all ears.
The impossible isn't impossible anymore, right? Like,
but I understand it's going to be very difficult to make your team better moving on from him.
Yeah.
It's just this conundrum that the Leafs are in, man. I mean, 10 years of watching what they've done. You know, you look at the other teams that win the Stanley Cup, they have fucking dogs that are emotional and they have grit, tenacity. They got a competitive spirit. They're like, get the fuck out of the way, get on my shoulders. Like, we're going places. And he doesn't really bring that. He's hyper talented, but it kind of stops there, you know? And I think that bothers people in the market.
And I mean, we're recording this, by the way, a day after the NHL season kind of has taken a break. So yesterday, the Battle of Florida took place, and you see two fucking championship caliber teams there. These guys almost did the bench is almost fucking cleared with the way Matt Tkachuk went after Cooch, and then the way fucking Forsling was pile driving on JJ Moser, right? So it's a fucking dog. Yeah, you need to be dogs. That's what we're seeing the past couple of years. But I know we're talking about the Leafs right now, but like, let's say they are to catch. Let's take a bigger picture look at the Atlantic and the East, right? So right now we have the Sabres going into the Olympic break. We have the Sabres and the Bruins at 70 and 69 points, respectively. And we got the Leafs at 63. And then obviously we have the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Habs, and the Red Wings leading the Atlantic. Which teams could you see potentially falter down and for the Leafs to kind of get that window? Because all these teams keep kicking. There's no fucking window.
Yeah, I mean... I keep waiting for Buffalo to have a hiccup. I think for all the turmoil and bullshit they've gone through, there's no reason for them to be as bad as they've been. Look at the players they've had on their roster.
They got fucking studs, yeah.
How far do you want to go back? I mean, they look good now. I think they've finally put it together. I don't see them coming back. But as far as Boston, Columbus, Washington, Ottawa, I mean, if two of those teams falter and the Leafs get hot, and again, it's not in their hands. They're going to need help. They can get as hot as they fucking want to get. They could still miss the playoffs. They're going to need help. But Boston, I mean, they're not even supposed to be here. They retooled and sold a bunch of assets, and they're supposed to be here right now. They're not. Columbus, they're supposed to be kind of like this bottom feeder team. They get Bones come in there. All of a sudden,
fucking Bones.
Fire lit under their ass, and they've got all their fucking mojo. Is that going to be sustained? And Washington, I don't know. They could go either way. Ottawa, it's fairly honest to say they're a pretty good team. Could be a playoff team. They have not got goaltending for shit. It has been their Achilles heel, and it's crazy when you look at Ullmark. Like he's a fucking stud. They move, get him. And then he turns into this, Lord knows what the fuck you want to call him. Yeah. He is not reliable whatsoever. So, but if they get some goaltending, everything else looks solid. So, I mean, unless they have more problems of the same, I don't think they're going to come backwards. But bottom line, you need one of those teams to come back to you, to fall from grace, to have a hiccup, to go through a stretch where you're in a rut, and you need the Leafs. You need to get hot as fuck, and you need to pass those teams. Easier said than done, but that's the only way at this point. I think that the probability of them missing the playoffs is more likely than not, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. But this shit has to happen for them to get in. It's going to be interesting to watch. It might all be over in the first 3-4 games, or it might drag on to the last couple of points of the season. I'm pretty interested to see what happens, but it's possible. It's just not likely.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the fucking Sabres, they're doing all this without Josh Norris, who, if you have Josh Norris and fucking Tage Thompson down the middle, that's a deadly duo. But then you got the Bruins, who's rocking Morgan Geekie and that new, like, Kirshnedenov. I don't know how the fuck, maybe I said it right. I don't know. But, like, the Bruins should not be where they are, but they have that dog. They have that pack mentality, you know what I mean? Which is what's missing from that Leafs locker room, it seems like, at least, right? But hopefully the Habs stay there, at least for my case. We got fucking Monty, who all of a sudden just played out of his ass, putting up 37 saves against the Jets, who, I mean, they're a whole other story in itself. But I do want to do a nice little game with you. So we do this thing on the Mo&Co Show. Everyone's probably seen it by now. We do a little bit of blind ranking action, right? So we have a list of 5. Producer Matt's going to rattle off some names. We have a list of 5. We're gonna do 2 different ones. And the first one is going to be blind ranking all-time Leafs players. So we're going to go one by one being the best, 5 being the worst. And we're going to have to kind of decide as a tandem, like Wool and Stolarz, where we want to put these guys. And keep in mind, I don't know what the fuck these players are going to be. So there might be some fucking Leafs gods and there might be some stinkers. We don't know what the fuck's going to be next. Am I right? So
All right, fair enough.
if you're bought in, let's fucking do it. Let's hear producer Matt. Let's hear your first name you got.
All right. First up, we got Mitch Marner.
Okay, starting out a bit hot there, eh? Fuck, I don't know, man. Where's your mind going right when you hear Mitchy boy? That's hot out the gate.
Well, I don't know who the other 5 are. I got to rank these
I
guys
know.
before I know.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's the fun of it, brother. Like immediately,
I've got
I'm thinking 2 or
2?
3,
Fuck.
2 or 3.
I'll put Marner for fucking what? For getting 100 points once?
I like it. I love it.
Because he's from fucking Toronto?
Yeah, let me hear it. Yeah.
He lit a fuse and left and let it all fucking blow up. He's not popping off with his new team. He bitched
him
and
5,
moaned and had a fucking chip on his shoulder and had attitude out the ass, which fucking made the market turn on him. He never showed up in the fucking playoffs. He didn't win shit. In a decade plus, he had 2 series wins. Fuck Marner. Like, sorry, talented as hell, but one of the greatest Leafs of all time. Do you know how deep their fucking history goes? I got Marner.
You're putting him in
at
the
5.
basement, eh? Basement. Oh,
Marner
okay.
at 5.
I'm not gonna fight you on that because you have my number every day of the week. I don't want to mess with you. So fuck me. Okay, Marner at 5. Matt, let's hear the next one. Sorry.
All right. Next, Brian McCabe.
Oof.
I knew you're gonna. You know what, McCabe. I think McCabe soured. Everyone was soured on him late, but there was a time where people could not get enough of this guy. Like, he was in an era where you're playing hard, you're playing gritty. He's a Maple Leaf all day long. I understand there's like near the end, I think soured him, much like Marner. But as far as winning a whole lot, I'm trying to think of the teams he was on. Did he go to the Eastern Conference Finals with them or no?
Fuck
Probably
me.
not.
I don't remember.
I'll put him at 4. And I hope we're getting to the nitty gritty here.
I was gonna say 3 because I don't know if he's gonna throw it like a Pizzetta or something. You know what I mean? But if you want to go 4, we'll go 4. I'm good with 4. All right, Matt. Let's hear the next one, bud.
All right. We got Matt Sundin.
Okay. Well,
Ooh, baby.
is that top spot for you? Are you comfortable with that, or you want to settle with 2?
Yeah, I think I'm going number 2 with him. I mean, he's a legend. He's a guy that had a little bit of sourness when he left as well, but all was better when time healed the wounds.
Mm-hmm.
A captain, a great era, a consummate professional, Leaf through and through. You don't even think of Sundin without thinking of the Maple Leafs. So
Yeah.
I got him at number 2.
Okay, I'm cool with 2. Yeah, I'm cool with 2. Let's hear the next one, bud.
All right. Jake Gardner.
Oh, fucking the memes will come up about the pylons, but fuck, we're gonna get to Jakey later too. But for the sake of now, 3. Are we putting all our marbles into 1 for the last spot, or?
God, this isn't fucking fair because I don't know who's coming up. You could throw
That's
my
why it's a
name on
blind
there, and
ranking, bud.
clearly I need
And
to
it
be
better
at the
fucking
bottom.
be your name. It better fucking be your name.
Hey, Jake Gardner was a good D-man. He was a high prospect. He had tons of potential. I played with him personally. Dion used to call him Silver Stick because, he had the confidence. He acted like he had played 1,000 games his first year or 2, and they called him Silver Stick. He was solid. Didn't pan out. You could point fingers at the era, at the players around him, at the all kinds of shit, right? There's a lot of factors that go into it. Unfortunately, I'm going to break the rules probably, and I'm going to shuffle everyone down a little bit.
Whoa.
I don't care. These fucking rules they're made to be messed with.
They're made to be
here.
broken?
It's going Gardner at the end, then Marner, then McCabe, and then there's a gap, and then Sundin's still number 2.
Wait. So we have, what are we at right now then? We have no one won. We have Sundin.
There's only one more hole.
If you're shifting like that, then Sundin has to be either 2 or 1.
I might have made a 6 hole. You
can't just bury him bottom of the basement. Like, we gotta, if you're putting him at the bottom, then we gotta fucking shift Matt's.
I'm not going on record saying that Jake Gardner is a more influential Leaf than Mitch Marner. So whatever you got to do, I'm shuffling everybody. I got Sundin. There's only a hole for number 1, so I'm hoping a Wendell Clark or a Doug Gilmore or someone's coming down the barrel here because the spots are filling up fast.
Well, I fucking, for some reason, I don't know why I had in my head, I said captain. I, for some reason, thought we were saying Phaneuf, not Gardner. So my bad on that. But Jake Gardner, okay, we're putting him bottom of the barrel. Okay, so we're left with number 1 post shuffle. Breaking the rules out here. Matt, who do we have top spot all time? Leaf.
We got Austin Matthews.
Okay. And what's your thoughts with that?
You guys are fucked. Well, if that's all you get, if that's all you get to
You're
pick
fucked.
from, like, I mean, I got Darcy Tucker up a lot of these guys.
Dude, it's blind. It's all
Wendell
random. We're not
Clark,
including everyone.
Dougie G. So we got to put those guys into it. Who? Poppy?
That's it. That's the list. That's the list. It's done. That's the blind ranking. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, I like it.
I gave you one gimme.
Okay, number 1 is Sundin. Holy fuck. number 2 is Poppy. 3 is McCabe. 4 is Marner. 5 is Gardner.
All right, that's the ideal list for you. Eh? Okay, I got you. That's the ideal list. Okay, we're gonna do this one more time because you'll love it so much. Clearly,
right.
We're gonna do it one more time, but this time we're gonna blind rank teams in the Atlantic Division. So there's only 8 to pick from. We have 5 spots, so the majority of them are gonna be picked. And I guess we could think of this as a combo of like current form, how good they're, their future, like just as a team in general, and as a franchise, I guess you could say where they are right now. Okay, Matt, let's hear it with number 1.
All right, first up, Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, fuck. Okay, here's my question for you, though. Before we go hot out the gate here and you put them at 4, my question to you is, do you put Detroit, how many of, if not all, of Detroit, Tampa, and Florida do you put above Montreal? Because they might
Detroit.
not, all 3 of those teams might not be in because it's only 5 of 8.
I know, it's tough, man. There's recency bias here. So we're starting off with Montreal.
You want to put the middle of the pack maybe? Play it safe? 3 spot?
That's pretty safe, man. I mean, I've been saying for 2 years, they're coming. They're coming. I don't like to say it. They've gone through the rebuild. They've done it the hard way. They've done it the long way. They've got the coach. Like, you need some fucking chemistry going to, and you need some track record. You need some road behind you. You need some bumps and bruises. You need to know what it's like to struggle, know what it's like to suffer. You need to come together in a common fucking goal to do something special. And that's what the Montreal Canadiens have fucking done. It hurts me to say. I got them at 3. I mean, I think they very well likely could be the next Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup in the next 3 or 4 years. If Edmonton doesn't do something, I mean, everyone's waiting for magic in Toronto just to pop off. I mean, if they could get a D-man and Austin could find his fucking balls and Willie could fucking commit and their goalies are doing their goalie thing that they were last year. I mean, anyone can go on a run, but everything I see out of Montreal, unfortunately, looks pretty goddamn good.
Okay, I was going to say 2, but you're the guest today, so we'll plan him at 3. Matt, next up.
All right, next, the Bruins.
Oh, fuck. You know what? I don't like the fucking make of that team. I have no problem with putting them at 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're playing out their ass right now. I don't think they're supposed to be here.
No, not at all.
Problems are coming in the future. They could pop in the playoffs and not, but I don't think they're a threat right now. I got them at 5 as well.
Okay. Yeah, 5 for Boston. Yeah, next up.
All right, next, the Panthers.
I mean, they're not hot, but like they're the Panthers. You know what I mean? Like they could come back healthy next year and win the cup.
I know, that's what's nuts. I think they're much like the Leafs in their differences, obviously, but I think this could be a one-off. Like, I mean, you go to the Stanley Cup final 3 consecutive seasons. Jesus, man. Do you know how much that fucking gasses you? Do you know what it takes to stay at the top of this league this day and age? So much gas. You throw in an Olympic season schedule. These guys are fucking gas. They don't have Barkov. They didn't have Tkachuk for most of the season. I get it. I didn't think they'd fall from grace this much, but it is what it is. Oh, God, like I'm running out of rooms for the goddamn teams that I want here.
No reshuffling this one. No reshuffling.
Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna put them at number 2.
I agree with the 2 spot. You know what? Because if I hear Tampa, that's what I'm waiting for, right? That's the 1 spot for me. Detroit,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know they're up there with the likes of Tampa, but I can't put them at 1 if we get them. But yeah, next up we have Tampa at 2. So I think we have 1 and 4 left.
I got the like right now recency bias. Obviously, this 3, 4, 5. This could change. Buffalo could pop in there. Fuck. I mean, between Buffalo, Boston, Detroit, Ottawa. I mean, people would throw the Leafs in there as well. That's interchangeable. It's yet to be seen on what's going on. But the number 1 spot I got is the Lightning right now. I mean, they've won 2 cups this fucking decade. They're coached by John Cooper. They got dogs on top of dogs. They got the best goalie in the fucking world. They've got experience. They fucking got it all, man. They got D-man. They got studs, dogs. I'm not surprised to see them. I'm surprised last year they weren't better than they were. They're a legit team. They've got all the stuff that you need to do it. So I got the Lightning at number 1.
Well, we don't know if the Lightning's even coming up on the list yet. That's the thing.
Oh, I forgot.
We
about
don't.
your special
We don't
rules
even know.
here.
That's the thing. So
You brought
Matt,
up the Lightning. Who's next then? Who's
well,
next?
I'm just saying that's why I want to put him at 2 in case the Lightning come up. So, but like Matt, producer Matt, who is next? Maybe it's the Lightning.
It is not. We got the Sabres.
4. just out of sake for hoping the last one's the fucking layup Lightning, and it's gonna be the Leafs. Watch, it's gonna be the fucking Leafs.
I'm sorry. I got the Leafs at 4.
We don't have Leafs yet. This is Sabres now.
I know, but there's no fucking room here. I'm not putting them at 4 because I think Toronto can be at 4. I think they could bump the Sabres out. They're having their little heyday here. They're good. Again, you could interchange a bunch of these. You could pull the Bruins out and easily put Buffalo at 5. I don't have a spot for them. Fuck them. They don't go on the list. Sorry. I'm waiting for other teams.
All right, fuck the Sabres. They're not even making the blind ranking. We're going to have a donut spot by the end of it. All right, Matt, we have 1 spot left, 1 team left, and we have spots 1 and 4. So who's the last team?
Mo, you read my mind every single time. It is the Leafs.
I got the Leafs at 4. I guess number 1's I broke the rules. I'm not following.
There's a donut at no one is number 1.
I don't care
Massive
about
fucking
protocol.
donut.
Number 1's up for grabs, man. I got Toronto at 4. It's total anomaly what they're going to do, what they're going to figure out. They are so Jekyll and Hyde. They could be one of the best teams going, or they could just be a fucking embarrassment. Again, I don't think injuries helped them. Their goaltenders weren't fucking good. And the schedule that they played, I just think there's a plethora of reasons to be like they had a one-off this year. I don't know what moves they're going to make. I still think they could be a legit hockey team, and they're waiting for... my only thing is but at the end of the day, when things get hard, is your leadership going to drag you through the adversity? I have yet to fucking see that, but I still have on hope, and I'm a total fucking homer apparently, and I got them slotted at number 4.
Out of fucking be, bud. All right, that does it for the blind rankings. That's probably the fucking best blind rankings, just because we went so off fucking script there. That's fucking unbelievable. We'll end it with this. Well, not necessarily ending, but the last segment, should I say. We want to talk about the man himself, Jay, because we're talking everything current Leafs. But the fucking gracious guest you are coming on episode 7 of the Mo&Co Show. It's fucking huge, so thank you for that, brother. Means a lot coming from out west. Not in studio, but maybe eventually one day in studio if you make the trip back to TO at some point. So we know you were a tough, hard-nosed player. You like to get in your scraps back in the day. And if we're talking about big media nowadays, you had a tilt with the one and only Biz Nasty. Fucking Flyers, Coyotes. You guys were fucking throwing haymakers, and then all of a sudden, step back, a little reset, and fucking right back in there. Just walk me through what was going on in your mind leading up to and during that fight.
Yeah, I think I'd fought Biz before, and he was out there. I thought, hey, we're time to go. I think they just scored on us. We weren't doing well. I needed some juju. I needed to get some momentum going. And he shook me off. There was a face-off right in front of their bench, and he's looking back at Tippett going, man, this...
Yeah, you have to get permission from coach,
guy's trying to go me. And, it's kind of a fine line as a tough guy. You want to give the guys their cookies. You want to oblige because it gives you, the grace the next time when you
Street
need it,
cred,
and they'll
yeah,
owe
yeah.
you one. But you don't want to scrap when you've got momentum. You don't want to get your shift. Back in the day when we played 6 or 7 minutes a night, get your shift, get in a fight when the team doesn't need that. Give their team a bunch of energy, hit the reset button on the fucking Nintendo, and everything's up for grabs. They take momentum and start playing in your end, and everyone's looking at you going, do you not know your fucking job? So Biz was aware of that, and he was shaking me off, and I was, pushing the issue, and finally Tippett just, I guess, went, fuck, do whatever you want, go for it. And we had a scrap, and his jersey ripped off in my hand, and we completely spread out again, which oftentimes is the end of the fight, but the liney
Right
stayed out
back.
of it. And I fired off my elbow pads, which were down at my wrists, and we re-engaged, and it was a big dust up, and Shane Doan's on their bench and patting him on the back, and everyone was jacked up. It was pretty awesome. We went to the box to serve our 5, and I think we scored 2 goals while I was in there serving our 5
Fucking
minutes.
right.
So it blew up in Biz's face. I think he brings that up on how it was a rough timing for him, but fuck. That stuff with each guy, everyone's always like, who's the toughest guy you ever fought? It's like, depends on the fucking day, man.
100%,
Any point in time, some guy could catch you, clock you, your adrenaline doesn't spike, you miss your grab, you switch hands at the wrong time, you open up your lane and the guy fucking buttons you. Does that mean you're garbage and he's the toughest guy in the world? No,
Absolutely
it's just
not, yeah.
fucking bare knuckle fighting, man. Shit happens. So it's funny when you're in that world. Everyone kind of understands that there's a mutual respect. I think you see that all the time. Biz is no exception, but yeah, that's a fun one to go back and watch. It's getting to be a while ago now. Jesus, I'm getting old.
We're at 12 years. I think it was 2014, right? So that was about like 12 years ago at this point, right? So
Yeah.
I do want to touch a bit about your career and like your teammates too. You've played with the likes of Kessel, Lupul, Shen, Connolly, Kadri. Like, what was it like playing with those guys? Like, there were some sneaky good players at the time on that team, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, the Brian Burke era, it goes down as, the 18-wheeler going off the cliff. And I think that, they tried to make a team a certain way, and you brought in, Kessel, and, you had Bozak coming out of college, Lupul, you had Boschman on the back end, Phaneuf on the back end, Caberlet was still there. There were some pieces there. At the end of the day, I remember there being a rift between Ron Wilson and Brian Burke. Wilson wanted to play the team that he wanted. It didn't include me. Berkey was adamant about having some heaviness in there. Colton Orr was obviously there. 4-year, $4 million contract at the time was a big deal for a tough guy. I was a complimentary piece to him. It was back and forth and up and down, and it was one of those seasons. Actually, was one of the years where we went on a tear at the end of the year, and any other year we would have made the playoffs, and it was just one of those years where it just wasn't quite enough. I think we hit the number that traditionally would get you there, so it turned out to not really do it. But it was the Berkey era, Komisarek. All these different guys, man. It was a fun group to be around. A lot of names that people remember. Unfortunately, the success wasn't there. And I was just trying to fucking hold on, stay in that league, do what I could, make hay when the sun shined. If I was in the lineup or I got a certain amount of minutes, I wanted to do whatever I could. I was usually running around fucking burying guys, just running around like there's no puck and just hitting everything.
Alberta way, baby.
Fucking A. Like, if anyone wants to fucking have anything to say about it, the gloves are spring loaded. We'll fucking go as hard as we can. And as soon as I get out there again, I'm going to be doing the same goddamn thing. That was the idea of how I got to that league and picked up playing forward after being a D-man for a few years in pro. So it was fun. There's nothing like being on the Leafs. It's a totally different market. I understand Montreal is unique too. I think they're kind of a segment there with their French people and the Quebec and their history, and it's all great, but I just don't think there's anything like the Leafs. They travel so well. You see the fans in Calgary and Edmonton. There's nothing like it. I got in a debate on Twitter on who travels better, and it's not even close if you ask me. The Leafs are special. I wish nothing but the best for them. It's fun covering them, but goddamn, do they have a way of breaking your heart and making you miserable.
Fucking right. And speaking of unique fan bases, I do want to ask you, what was it like playing in the EI? Obviously, you went overseas there. Some people say it's like the fucking Premier League. You know what I mean? Like, they go just as fucking nuts there in a different way. What's that experience like for us that clearly majority of people don't know?
Yeah, it was awesome. So it's like the British Professional Hockey League, and you're playing all over the UK and going to Belfast and
Was it
Northern
Manchester you were
Ireland,
in?
Manchester, and Glasgow.
Okay.
So I mean, once I left Philadelphia, and the whole media scrutiny and the deaths of Belak and Rippon and Bugard, the NFL getting into trouble with concussions and paying out $600 or $700 million. The media got on it, and all they would print is how many more fighters need to die, and it was fucking going the other way in a hurry. It's a chain reaction. About 13, 14 tough guys in the league that were in the league the year before that either didn't re-sign or got sent down, or put on waivers, and all the tough guys just dried up. Everyone's like, let's use our fourth line to try out this college kid, or let's use this guy, or why do we need a tough guy when none of our in division rivals have a tough guy? It was this chain reaction. Everything was over. I was in the American League. I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not grinding for no pot at the end of the rainbow, and it was time to move on, and got an opportunity to go over there and play. It was an absolute blast. I'm a golf fanatic, so a lot of the open rotation courses that are nearby, I fucking hit them all. Played the best golf of my life, and got the chance to be the captain of a hockey team. Play on the top couple of lines, be a leader, have fun with hockey again, not have the pressure. I can fight if I want. I don't have to fight at all if I don't want to. I had the support of a coach, and Ryan Finnerty, his name was, who's still with Manchester, in like an ownership GM position. It was fucking awesome. It was a grind. I had done everything I wanted. It was wearing on me. There was no more light at the end of the tunnel. I wanted to kind of have a change of pace, not deal with the bullshit that is North American pro hockey, and it was awesome. I got to retire on my own terms, enjoying everything. I was having kids at the time and a family. It was just awesome to go over there. I couldn't imagine ending my career in a better fashion, and that was going over there, where the people are awesome. The hockey's a hell of a lot better than I thought, man. They've got, there's 13, 14 Canadian imports, and then all the British guys, they're coming along. Their programs really higher than I think people acknowledge. So it was a blast. My last 2 years over there, I couldn't have pictured it better. I wrote the script in a lot of ways, and not many guys can say that with how they end their careers.
Fucking right. How many Guinnesses did you delete when you were over there?
So many, man.
Fucking
So
right.
many. You should have seen our bus. We were sponsored by this bus company, and they had this fucking just stud bus for the national cricket team. It was a double-decker bus. There's iPads all over the walls and screens and Wi-Fi and coolers and tables and fucking fridges, and they packed it full of booze every single road trip.
Fucking
And
right.
on the way home, we were partying so fucking hard, just pounding Guinnesses. We'd get so wound up. We'd have the bus pull over in certain towns, and we'd get out and light it up. It was fucking awesome. An absolute blast. And our teams actually gelled like crazy. There was a ton of guys in the same position kind of as me, where, they had a history of playing this pro hockey, and they're at this point in their career, but they want to do something. And we all came together, and we're trying to do something special. We were tough, old school teams. It's old school North American hockey over there. And fuck, it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Fucking right. Do you ever get a chance? Because I know in England, there's, I don't know if it was as popular back then, but I don't know if you see now those dart championships with their. It's just a fucking mess in that place. Have you ever been to one of those when you were across the pond or what?
Yeah, they would turn our rink into like we wouldn't be able to play or practice there because they'd have these dart championships, and we'd poke our heads in and hang out, and it's just mayhem, like pure booze fest, signs everywhere, going bananas. And I lived right, like the streets are so skinny, man. My front door, you could throw a dart into the front door of this pub, and we would always meet there, and we'd play fucking darts, and we'd get the gambling going, and we'd just take over this pub, drinking the pints, throwing darts, and have a blast. Then we'd go watch it in the rink when the tournaments were on. It was fun, man. The culture's wicked. Golf course was right there. We had a little deal. We could just walk on it whenever we wanted. It was fucking awesome playing over there.
That's fucking wicked. Yeah, I went to London once, and admittedly, the bars, at least in London, they do close pretty fucking early, which is brutes. It's like 11 p.m. over there, at least right now. I don't know what it was back in the day, but yeah, it's just, I want to get over there and go to one of those fucking darting events, dress up, get the fucking sign going. Fucking, what's the 180? I think it is. That's the score you got to get. So, yeah, dude.
all kinds of shit you could play. But London's bullshit though. You got to go to the outskirts. There's some real people out there. Fucking, we'd go practice at like this out of the way barn, and it'd be like 11 a.m. practice or 10 a.m. We're done at 11, and we're in this small coastal fucking town of like 500 people, and there's nothing, and we're looking for a bite to eat after practice. It's lunchtime. It's an hour and a half to drive back to wherever, and you poke your head in. There's like 8 to 10 people in there. And we all walk in with our tracksuits, say 6 or 7, like Canadian white boys cruising in. And these guys have done this every year for their entire fucking generations. They're sitting there with a pint of beer and a whiskey chaser, 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. And they look at us like we're fucking aliens off a spaceship. And we're cruising in our tracksuits like, hey, can you fire up the grill for some burgers or something? It's wild, man. That's legit Scotland, legit England out in the real stuff where I thought it was awesome. Those people are great.
Those fucking breakfast pints. Well, I got nothing else to add. You've been a fucking gem, a stud, everything. This was a lot of fucking fun. We obviously touched on the Leafs, the Atlantic, a little bit of your playing career there. And of course, we touched on every epi. We got to talk a little bit of beers and a little bit of pints, which we did with the Guinness and the fucking double decker, which sounds like a time and a half. And the darts. And the fucking darts. Jay, you've been the man. I appreciate you coming on again. This has been episode 7. And again, check out Jay on Leafs Morning Take with him and Nick. Again, mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, from Monday to Friday on the Leafs Nation YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Jay, anything you want to add before I go solo here for a bit and just kind of go around the league?
No, man. Thanks for having me. It's a blast. Good luck with everything. You're in your those early episodes, man. It seems like you've done a lot more. It's a blast. Thanks for having me. And yeah, if you follow hockey and all the same shit that we're into, follow me on Twitter and subscribe to our show and get your Leafs
fix,
if that's what you're into. But yeah, appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, and whenever you come, you make your trip on the bird over to Toronto, maybe we'll get you in studio right here. So, especially with a postseason recap, maybe to see where the Leafs actually ended up to come full circle there. So, thank you, Jay. Appreciate you, brother, and we will talk to you soon.
All good, man. Thanks.
That was Jay Rosehill, ex-Leaf, ex-Flyer. What a beauty that guy is. I mean, that Marner rant was just all time. I do have a couple points that I do want to kind of dabble on before we call it for episode 7. So, bit of story time. I got brought down for the Stadium Series in Tampa Bay. Fanatics, again, shout out Fanatics. I mean, they're one of the sole reasons this setup even came to exist, so shout out them. They gave me a choice between a Boston and a Tampa jersey to rock, and obviously those are two tough questions as a Habs fan because you have the Tampa Bay Lightning who took a Stanley Cup off of Carey Price, and then you have the Boston Bruins, who are original 6 rivalry and arguably their biggest rival with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I went for the Bruins, and if you haven't seen yet, I did post stories and a couple of fun clips. And yeah, was rocking the Bruins threads. It hurt a bit, and kind of hurt even more when they had a 4-goal lead and it kind of like went away. I started cheering for the Lightning at that point. I was even thinking of putting my fucking Tampa Bay jersey under my Bruins one in case that happened, but fuck, I forgot. So yeah, stayed at Marriott Tampa downtown. It was fucking Gasparilla again, that Pirate event, which coincidentally I was there for it last year too. And again, I was there for this year, but it was so fucking cold. It was like 0 degrees Celsius, by the way, just absurd. And me and Tom Stewart, we had a convo about these Stadium Series, these outdoor games. And I've never been to one, so I can't really comment on just how good they are. But not apart from the game itself, which is a 4-goal comeback goalie fight, that was probably one of the best, if not the best, sporting event I've been to, on par with me seeing a Stanley Cup Finals game at the Bell Center, right? So shout out to the Stadium Series. Unreal stuff there. I do want to go a bit around the league because even though we're heading into the winter break right now, I mean, not even winter break, we're heading into the Olympic break right now. A lot of stuff has happened right before this break even occurred. So could there be a change in coaching for the Edmonton Oilers? Because Leon Draisaitl got a bit pissy again with the media. Not to the media, though, but to his coach and to his goalie. So pretty much said everyone's got to be better, and that's from the top down, including coaches, which Knobloch, I know, doesn't want to hear that. And I know they had Paul Coffey as their D coach when they went on those runs, but obviously he's not there anymore, and their D is suffering as a result. And you got Lamborghini of the Flames post-Battle of Alberta calling Jarry Swiss cheese, saying he likes Swiss cheese on his fucking pizza. So, and then Leon touched on that too, that their goalie's got to be better. He expects more saves out of the goalie, who was Jarry, who did come into Edmonton to replace Stuart Skinner. So, from what you thought was going to be a trade that would save the Oilers' ass between the pipes, has really quickly turned into another area of panic, which begs the question: is this an issue with the goaltenders themselves, or an issue with the organization and how they handle their goalies, whether it's the goalie coach, management, etc.? So, or maybe it's going to be Ingram, and that starts getting the nod, who was in Bakersfield for a bit, but ever since got called up to the big club and played pretty good so far. Skinner's also, for Oilers fans listening, 4-0-1 in his last 5. So, yeah. Big Starbucks enthusiast, as everyone knows, but we do know that Panarin's went to the LA Kings recently as well. And let this sink in that the Pittsburgh Penguins got more by acquiring Stuart Skinner than the New York Rangers got for dusting off Artemi Panarin, which is fucked. So you're telling me, oh yeah, we'll take Stu, who's playing absolutely fucking lights out, and oh yeah, we'll take a pick too, which that pick is higher than the pick the New York Rangers got for Artemi fucking Panarin. But then that's the fucking kicker with these no move clauses, because he said, I'll go to either Florida or LA, and Florida doesn't have the money to make that work, and fucking LA Kings did. And apparently there was a $14 million per year offer for multi-years from the Seattle Kraken for Panarin, but he's like, I don't want to fucking go to Seattle with Nirvana and Pearl Jam. I want to go to fucking LA where the weather's nice. So he did get himself a nice ticket at $11 million per for 2 years for $22 million total, even though there was millions left on the table, which is kind of fucked because the tax in LA is absurd. If he got like fucking 7 or something, let's say from the Florida Panthers, he probably would have still been making more. So Bennett also, as we're just fucking humming, going through around the league right now, Bennett has been added to Team Canada for the Olympics with Braden Point. Unfortunately going down, I feel, for Braden Point and Sorelli, with Seth Jarvis and Bennett have been called up as a result, which Wyatt Johnson and Connor Bedard are just as confused as I am, to be honest. And speaking of these new additions for the Olympics, we had Jackson Lacombe called up when Seth Jones went down, and we saw Charlie McAvoy get a little bit of a fucking elbow action against, I don't even remember who it was, but he got hit in the head pretty hard. I think it was against the Panthers. And he came back in the game, absolute nail gun, Charlie McAvoy. So it looks like he's still Olympic bound. But my hypothetical is, would it fucking be Lane Hudson to get called in if McAvoy couldn't go? We know he's going to go now, but just a hypothetical, like if Lacombe was the next man up, which he was because he's going, where the fuck was Lane Hudson? Is he next up, or are they like Ryan McDonough? Is that the next fucking guy they're looking at? You know what I mean? Or someone else at that. We don't know, right? So Hudson is putting up until the Olympic break right now, 57 games played, 10 goals. Some people didn't even think he'd score fucking 5 goals this year. He's really worked on his shot. 48 assists, 58 points. He's third in points for a defenseman. So Werenski's up there too. And Lane Hudson is, but no. He's not good enough. He's not good enough, allegedly. And Caulfield, similar argument. 57 games played, 32 goals, 57 points, tied for third in goals with Robertson and someone else. I don't know if I can remember who it is. And Jason Robertson, as I said, tied third in goals with Cole Caulfield. He's also another snub. So if there's an injury at forward, we don't know who the fuck is going to get called up, whether it's likes of Cole, who, by the way, just to like put everything into perspective here, in terms of points, Cole Caulfield has one less point than Lane Hudson, but he's one of the best goal scorers in the NHL, and Lane Hudson is a defenseman, and you still don't bring him. I get the argument with checking, the physicality, the size, but if you see Lane Hudson play defense every single time there's a board battle or it's a one-on-one, he's coming out with that puck fucking 9.5 times out of 10. So, Billy G, I don't know, man. You're fucked. But what are you going to do? Otherwise, around the league, as a Habs fan, I do want to touch a bit about the Habs, and then we'll kind of wrap it up here. Montreal Canadiens, Sam Montembeault backstopped. And is Monty back? We don't know, but he backstopped 37 saves against Hellebuck and the Jets right before the break. The Habs, I think, were 4-0-1 in their last 5, and we saw the vibes in the room with Marty St. Louis. I'm fucking proud to be your coach, and I'm fucking proud to be a Habs fan right now. As much, I had a event with Weekend Hockey today at the rink, and I was wearing the Bruins jersey, and then all these fucking kids come up to me. He's like, I thought you were a fucking Habs fan. I'm like, yeah, dude, I am, but I'm also a Fanatics fan, and I got to rock the jerseys they put on. And I guess it's a bit of recency bias, too, because I did see the Bruins play in Tampa, and those Stadium Series jerseys were fucking cool, and I'm really excited to see what they do with the Winter Classic with Utah, Colorado, and I don't know if it's called the Heritage Classic or the Stadium Series for next year, but I think the Montreal Canadiens are going to Winnipeg for that at the Blue Bombers Stadium too. So hopefully I get to go to those two, because this outdoor hockey thing, I did expect better weather, that's for sure. I take off for Florida again, but this time a bit more south and on the east side to Fort Lauderdale. And I am hoping that the weather is better for that. Also with Weekend Hockey, so shout out Weekend Hockey. And if you haven't already, sign up for the Mo Cup, May 22nd to 24th. That is my tournament, where the cowboy hat that we could see up there will be rocked, and the Prospects by Sports Illustrated bucket is also there. So those are my 2 plugs for my 2 G's, I mean Fanatics too, right? So we got Prospects by Sports Illustrated. Sign up for the Mo Cup. Early bird special is done, so if you're too late, you can still sign up, but you missed out on the early bird special. So for next year, make sure you get on that, because pretty good deal. And the best tourney out there, custom goal horns, custom jerseys, put a team together. It's 5-on-5, and if you're lucky, I will be on your bench as well. So Coach Mo reporting for duty, but not really Coach Mo, because at the end of the day, your main coach gets the say. Fun weekend ahead. Tomorrow, back at it with Weekend Hockey. We are recording this all full transparency a couple days before it's being posted. So this is on a weekend where I am currently attending a Weekend Hockey tournament at the home of the Steelheads. And me and Coach Chippy will be at CAA Center. So if we saw you, this will already be posted. I've already done that. So if I see you, and if you see me and Coach Chippy, it was great meeting you. But that does it for episode 7. I did, as I said at the beginning of the pod, I was under the weather. I felt like a sack of shit. Thought I was going to pass out on the plane to Tampa. It was not a good Friday for me last week, and the week leading up to it, I was in a bit of a body bag. But somehow I rebounded perfectly for the Stadium Series, and I gathered the strength, and now I'm back to me to do episode 7 with the one and only Jay Rosehill, ex-Leaf. Fucking stories that guy dished out. We gotta teach him a thing or two more about the blind rankings too. So he's breaking the rules there, but he was fucking great. That'll make for some great fucking content. So we'll see you next week for episode 8 as we come closer and closer to double digits. Time's fucking flying here. Time's fucking flying of the Mo&Co Show. This has been Mo. My guest today was Jay Rosehill, ex-Leaf, ex-Stud. Fucking rights. What a beauty. Hope to have him on someday. Actually on the pod setup, considering he's out west. This has been episode 8. Episode 7 of the Mo&Co Show. We will see you in the next one. Ciao. Bang. That's the outro.